Rubio agreed to connect Trinidad and Tobago with the U.S. Department of Energy to assist in identifying the most suitable partner for the project. Meanwhile, Secretary Rubio said via social media that discussions with Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa focused on making the partnership between the U.S. and Trinidad and Tobago even stronger, ensuring that citizens from both countries are more prosperous and safe. He said Trinidad and Tobago's ongoing support for U.S. military operations in the South Caribbean Sea is one example of helping to protect citizens from both countries from the scourge of drug trafficking. And Barry Padarath, Minister of Public Utilities and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, has praised Prime Minister Kanwa Prasad Bisesa for what he described as a frank and candid address at the 50th regular meeting of CARICOM held in St. Kitts and Nevis on Tuesday evening. According to the Minister, the Prime Minister tackled the pressing issues confronting the region and underscored that Trinidad and Tobago will always act in its own best interest.
I thought that the Prime Minister confronted the real geopolitical issues that are affecting CARICOM at this particular time. There are two main issues, which are national security issues and the economics issues surrounding several CARICOM states. The Prime Minister also sought to put into context several matters that would have occurred while we served in opposition. And I thought that was a very brave, bold, and courageous decision for the Prime Minister to make by confronting those issues.
Minister Padarath said the Prime Minister also challenged the perception that CARICOM has become a talk show, making what he described as a clarion call for action.
The only way you can get action is if you confront the real issues that are impacting Caribbean societies, and I think she sought to do that. She did justice to the statement, and she took position, and the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the government bench supports the position adopted by the Honourable Prime Minister. And I think the Honourable Prime Minister fell short of saying, let the chips fall where they may.
On Tuesday, Prime Minister Kanwa Prasad Bisesa spoke at the opening ceremony of the 50th regular meeting of CARICOM in St. Kitts and Nevis. The meeting is scheduled to end on February 27, 2026. And action continues to heat up in the East-West Corridor Football League, with 3 matches scheduled to take place across Trinidad and Tobago this evening, as teams continue to stake their claim for a spot in the round of 16. First in the Northeast Zone, we'll see a clash between Amalgamated FC and Dream Team United at the Northeastern Sporting Complex from 7 p.m. In Carnage, also from 7 p.m., Trendsetter Hawks will face United Brotherhood in the North Zone. And moving to the Corland Grounds from 6 p.m., we'll see a battle between 3rd and 4th as Kings United meet Team Ready in the Tobago Zone. And in some more news, the United States has announced it will permit some Venezuelan oil to be resold to Cuba, a step that could help ease the island's severe fuel shortages as neighboring nations warn that Washington's oil restrictions are deepening a humanitarian crisis. In a statement on Wednesday, the U.S. Department of Treasury said it will grant licenses to companies to resell Venezuelan oil for commercial and humanitarian use in Cuba. The Treasury clarified that this new favorable licensing policy excludes persons or entities associated with the Cuban military, intelligence services, or other government institutions. For the past 25 years, Venezuela had been Cuba's main source of crude and fuel under a bilateral agreement largely based on exchanging goods and services. But after Washington took control of Venezuela's oil exports last month, following the capture of President Nicolas Maduro, those deliveries have stopped. And that's what's making the news this morning. I am Carrie Roberts.
Your news anytime, anywhere. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News. Committed, accurate, relevant.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون
This powerful verse from the Holy Quran invites us to embrace reflection, self-discipline, and spiritual renewal. Join us daily on TTT Limited for special Ramadan features, inspiring messages, heartfelt moments of devotion, and reflections that uplift our nation.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Now listen, this is your boy Carlos Edwards, and as a former player, let me tell you, it's the fans, man. The fans that made the game, that's the 12th man right there. And when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago, there's only one 12th man you need to know. My guy, Andre Errol Baptiste on TTT is bringing the heat every Tuesday.
Thursday, 26th February 2026. The time now, it is 6:09 a.m. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Virmala Balkaran, and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today. Well, before we begin today's program, we pause to honor one of our very own. Trinidad and Tobago is mourning the passing of broadcaster and vocalist Raymond Edwards, a voice so many of us grew up hearing, and a presence so many of us were blessed to know personally. While Raymond devoted more than 20 years to music and media, he began singing at just 17 under the guidance of the late Chesterton Ali and went on to become a multiple Trinidad and Tobago Music Festival champion, earning titles including Most Outstanding Vocalist and Male Vocal Champion. He released his debut album Ray of Hope in 2006 and even performed with the international cast of Porgy and Bess. But beyond the accolades, beyond the stage, Raymond was known for something even greater: his kindness. He had a bright, beautiful smile, a melodious voice that could command a room, but also comfort it. He was warm, gentle, and generous with his time and talent. He served as senior producer at Talk City 91.1 FM and most recently as a multimedia producer at the Office of the Prime Minister's radio unit. In every space he entered, he uplifted local music and the people around him. Now, Raymond often said his greatest joy was performing for his fellow Trinbagonians. Well, today we remember not just all of his achievements, but his spirit. Raymond Edwards was loved, and he will be deeply missed. Well, looking ahead this morning, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa has returned home to Trinidad and Tobago following the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in St. Kitts and Nevis. Well, we also resume our dissection of the Prime Minister's address at the meeting on Tuesday night, where she reaffirmed commitment to CARICOM, but stressed Trinidad and Tobago's sovereignty, defended U.S. security cooperation that led to a 42% drop in murders, raised concerns about regional political interference and threats from Venezuela, and she made it clear that national interests will come first. When we come back, Dr. Garvin Hira joins the show to weigh in from a regional security perspective. So grab a cup of coffee and settle in. Trinidad and Tobago Today has just begun.
Introducing the new Sun Mix Nut Bar. Available in 3 delicious flavors: granola raisin nut, almond cranberry crunch, and coconut almond crisp. All packed on a rich bed of dark chocolate. Taste the good life, snack right. Taste the good life anytime. Good life, good life. Sun Mix Sunshine Snacks Sun Mix Nut Bar. Taste the good life.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
This powerful verse from the Holy Quran invites us to embrace reflection, self-discipline, and spiritual renewal. Join us daily on TTT Limited for special Ramadan features, inspiring messages, heartfelt moments of devotion, and reflections that uplift our nation.
Health and wellness, the core of our existence on planet Earth. Let us hear the voices of our very own citizens, our local and regional medical community, scientists and climatologists. Caribbean Medical TV is geared to developing a consciousness in our people in terms of our health and lifestyle. Knowledge is a very powerful tool, and we must empower ourselves with the information to protect against chronic and other related diseases. From the impact of climate change on our health to NCDs, Season 3 of Caribbean Medical TV tackles the challenges we all face, giving our citizens hope for a better tomorrow. Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV.
Hey young ones, TTT's Terrific Toon Time is just for you. It's fun, it's exciting, and it's adventure-filled too. Join us as we follow the characters you know and love. See what our hero Zack gets up to in Super Z. Dive into the action with Bugs Butt Ignition. Put on your explorer's cap and join Dada and Dada on their next adventure. And of course, we can't forget our cosmic friends on Galaxy Kids. Don't miss it. It's Terrific Toon Time only on TTT.
said before, this morning we continue our coverage of the Prime Minister's address at the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, a speech that has marked significant discussion, particularly on issues of security, sovereignty and cooperation. In her address, the Prime Minister challenged the idea of the Caribbean as a zone of peace, citing threats from Venezuela, the rise of transnational crime, and of course, Trinidad and Tobago's record 623 murders in 2024. She then defended the government's decision to deepen security cooperation with the United States, crediting that partnership with a 42% reduction in murders this year. A move she unapologetically defended with the phrase, "Who vex loss?" But what are the broader implications of this stance for CARICOM unity? How do bilateral security arrangements really fit within a regional security architecture? And, well, how do these hard security concerns intersect with other priorities raised at the meeting, like food security and even inter-regional transportation? Well, to unpack the regional security dimensions of the Prime Minister's address this morning, we're joined by regional security expert Dr. Garvin Hira via Zoom. Good morning, Dr. Hira. Thank you for joining us once again.
Hi, good morning again, and good morning to your team in studio and those who are streaming and of course, listening online. A good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, good morning to the Caribbean.
Well, Dr. Hira, let's begin with the Prime Minister's challenge in that address to the idea of the Caribbean as a zone of peace. So she questioned how the region can sustain that label amid, all these threats from Venezuela and, of course, the rise in violent crime. So from a regional standpoint, is this zone of peace concept still viable, or, in your opinion, has the regional security environment fundamentally shifted?
Yeah, I think I can't say what the Prime Minister is saying as such as to analyze her speech. But what I can say from a perspective is that we have an identity in the region, in the Caribbean, as a zone of peace. And due to what we have been seeing over the years with the narco trafficking, human smuggling, transnational organized crime, and some of the challenges many of the island states are facing, the zone of peace seems to be slipping away. I believe the intention is that for us to maintain this identity, this brand in the region as a zone of peace, we have to get serious with our regional security. We have to get serious with our actions as CARICOM nations, and we have to be more unified and collective in how we make decisions with regard to our security. She was keen to mention Venezuela. She was keen to mention a situation that took place and claiming that a citizen was kidnapped. She was keen to also mention the drug trafficking and narco trafficking and some of the continued challenges of the mass migration, not only Venezuelans, but mass migration of many types of nationalities that are coming into the region. So I think the issue is we want to hold on to the identity of zone of peace, but presently we are challenged, and that zone of peace seems to be dwindling unless we do something and do something fast. And I think that's the approach that needs to be adopted.
So, Dr. Hira, she was particularly critical of what she described as, CARICOM's silence, and that's something that really broke the internet and had so many discussions in the face of these threats to, Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. She really spoke about Guyana as well. What do you think that suggests about the strength or weakness of collective security under the current CARICOM framework? And do you think that, I know you just spoke about there needs to be something more, but do you think our existing CARICOM security mechanisms are actually equipped to handle everything that's happening within the Caribbean right now?
I think applaudibly, there are some good models within the region, good models of jointness, of collaboration. But of course, we need to, the CARICOM needs to understand that CARICOM is evolving. CARICOM has not failed, it is evolving. And therefore, the environment has shifted incrementally, and we can't just sit here and continue to do business as usual. We have to adjust, and we have to also shift our narrative, our approaches, our strategies incrementally. And presently, I believe there needs to be a review with regard to regional security in CARICOM. there needs to be a prioritization of this, and we need to see an operationalizing of regional security. It cannot just be an office that probably is coordinating and producing information or intelligence. We need to see how do we operationalize that, and therefore I think we definitely need to strengthen our framework when it comes to regional security, and that framework has to be in line of the concept. Standardization, for instance, of legal documentations, of the legal documents. How do we move towards, for instance, extradition? How do we move towards joint subject matter expert exchanges, information sharing? Those are very, very important aspects as we standardize our legal instruments. More importantly, I think strengthening our cybersecurity grid. Now, what I am saying here, the operationalizing of the strategy that the Prime Minister would have stated, in that we need to be doing better for regional security as a CARICOM, as we have evolved in order to strengthen our borders, for instance, border control management, cyber, and as I said, the legal instruments. But when strategies are given at the heads of CARICOM like that, immediately there needs to have now some sort of task force, some sort of steering committee, some sort of coming together of the experts so that we can begin to implement some of these strategies that have been highlighted. We just can't have a good CARICOM heads meeting and we sit in it, we discuss some stuff, it hits the media and it runs for a while and then it fades off. We must be able to pick some of those strategies up and then begin now the implementation, the planning, the rollout, the operationalizing to ensure that next heads of government, CARICOM that is held, we can show some effects of how some of these strategies have been applied and are working. And this is a clarion call. It is enough time, enough talk. We always have the CARICOM heads and we have good talks, good strategies, good things are said. But where is the rollout? Where is the implementation? CARICOM is evolving. And I think what the Prime Minister is saying, it's enough talk. We've reached to the point now where we have to adopt a method and an approach of rolling things out, making it happen, and lifting the bar of standardizing across the region. And I think that has to be a good step forward, and it has to be also reaching into the bowels. We should begin seeing some task force being formed, some steering committees being formed, some operationalizing being done, and begin to show the effects of the strategies that were presented as now in the form of rollout and phase development.
Dr. A really important question for you. Last evening, I'm sure you saw this, there was a public statement on Facebook from the U.S. Secretary of Marco Rubio highlighting the deeper security cooperation with Trinidad and Tobago. I'm hoping you saw that one. And he linked it to prosperity and counter-narcotics efforts. So from a strategic standpoint, how do you interpret Washington's rhetoric and commitments in this corridor? Do you think it is simply support, or does it really signal a more institutionalized U.S. role in our Caribbean security?
I think it's a more institutionalized U.S. role. I think the U.S. Has seen the effects of how important the Caribbean region is playing now in the geopolitics. This is something we cannot dismiss. And when we say this, it's not isolating CARICOM alone. It's the connectivity that we have with LATAM and with South America. And our region has a value, and they are seeing that. Not only America. Not only America has put their hands up, they've spoken, they've sent their forces in, but other big players in the region, out of Europe, out of Asia, they are out of the Middle East, they are also showing interest into this region. And so the lights have gone on our stage, and therefore for us to be able to maintain that sort of value, we cannot be speaking in silos. That's one, she was clear to say that. And two, we also have to ensure that that unified voice speaks towards certain authorities, so that it's not that the big brothers of the world are speaking to us and demanding certain actions and certain processes and protocols. We are also able to match that on the table and speak for ourselves in what we see as our benefits. It has to be a two-way street. And I'm saying now, what he has said is an indicator that we are here for the long haul. We are here for long term. So therefore, we have to capitalize on this opportunity. This is not about politics. This is about people. And therefore, we have to recognize that the CARICOM, represented by a people, has a value that is now in demand, if we were to put it in a market perspective, that is now in demand by the world. And therefore, we have to utilize this opportunity for the benefit, the growth, and the development of CARICOM.
I want to shift the conversation just a little bit beyond security. Well, the Prime Minister also referenced food security, interregional transportation, and I know this is something you've been pretty vocal about as well, and these are ongoing regional priorities. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and again, here is the opportunity for us to prove ourselves. Here is the opportunity for us to show the world that we are quite capable and we are self-sufficient, especially the concept of food security. We must recognize that we have to be able to feed ourselves. We must recognize that we have to be able to feed the world, be it in the import-export trade. But food security plays an integral role. I'll say there are three big ones. There's climate change, water resource management, and food security. Covered in all of that is regional security. We have to ensure that we continue to promote our capacity and capability in this aspect, which brings us to the next point. It segues nicely into interregional transportation. And interregional transportation is not, as some people have been arguing, and quite correctly, I would think, we need to have cheaper fares. The fare to one of our Caribbean islands is probably the same or even more expensive than going to Miami, so we choose to go to North America. It's not just that. Interregional transportation speaks to access. When you have access to the various states and countries of the region, you can reform business development. You can become stronger in that unity, and you can make the connectivity more effective for sustainable growth and development. And therefore, that access needs to be prioritized. We have to stop looking at St. Vincent, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, in Guyana, in our little spaces. The sovereignty speaks to that. But we have to now groom all of that into a collective identity. And with the access based on interregional transportation, we can adopt an identity. And when you adopt an identity as a region, you are promoting the unity. When you promote the unity, your voice becomes more effective, more amplified on the table of negotiations, especially with big players and decision makers like the US, Europe, of course, and some of the other players. So therefore, I say interregional transportation, again, a strategy was spoken. Let us see a rollout. Let us see short, medium, long-term intentionalities of adopting and creating and, of course, structuring now the reformation of interregional transformation, making it much more easier, not only for business, but for tourism. There's a big one. We can't only look at the foreign tourism. There's a local tourism market within the region, and CARICOM itself can sustain its tourism rhetoric if we are able to access our countries a lot easier. So that's how I see the importance playing its part.
Yeah. Dr. my last question for you this morning. So this address, what does it tell us about the evolving balance between regionalism and nationalism within CARICOM? Do you think we are seeing a redefinition of collective security? I know you spoke a lot about the need for unity. Or do you think it's the beginning of a more fragmented regional approach?
Yeah, CARICOM has to understand that if we don't fix it, we will become marginalized. And who knows, maybe there are some people who are pushing towards just stretching and becoming more marginalized. And I think at this point, there's enough evidence, I would say evidence, but enough data, enough research, and more importantly, the passion for the region for us to come together. And I think there needs to be a strengthening of that intention. But the Prime Minister made it quite clear that we have reached a point in CARICOM where we need to fix it. And therefore, that fixing is not, as I said before, based on politics. It is about an understanding. It is about that we can do this together as a team. What are some of our goals and our objectives that we will seek to achieve? What are the strengths? For instance, she stood up, she put her hand up. Trinidad, talked about the hospital, talked about the university, talked about Trinidad being a go-to destination. It is not publicized, but it is well known across the region, and my team and our research have proven that, where people look towards Trinidad as and I say this with great reservation, as another New York, as another America. Those who can't get to North America come to Trinidad because one of our lifestyle, one of the socializing, our recreations, they come to Trinidad. Our shopping, they do that, and therefore there is an attraction to each and every country in the region. And I want to say this: we have to now begin packaging the marketing of CARICOM and the Caribbean as one. I said it before in another place. For instance, if you're going to Italy, you may very well just go to Venice or to Rome or to Milan, but you will probably take an Italian tour across Europe where you can take a train and go to different states of Italy and enjoy what it has to offer. So therefore, the attractions of the region needs to be promoted in a package, and not isolated into different countries. So that I'm coming to the Caribbean, going to St. Vincent. Why not come to the Caribbean and do a package tour over various countries? So this, I think, is what we need to start being sold. And in that same concept, you can take the aspect of regional security, build and boost the concept of interregional transportation, recognize the effects and the benefits of food security, and more importantly, unify the nation from a political perspective to deal with the geopolitics of the global system. And I think that's the approach that needs to be taken.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gavin here. Always a very, very amazing contribution on Trinidad and Tobago today. So hopefully we'll speak soon again. Have a great day and thanks for everything.
Thank you very much. God bless and have a great day.
All right, have a good one. All right, 6:32, that's the time. When we come back, we switch gears just a little bit. We're talking about community outreach from the church's perspective.
TTT News every night at 7. TTT News. Committed, accurate, relevant.
You are dearer to me than all the stars. So many wish but never reach. 'Cause when I'm falling and all the world seems dark, you help me find my peace. Oh, shun mi ba fishani. Oh, shun mi ba yeah. Oh, shun mi ba fishani. Arubita, yeah 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hey, young ones. TTT's Terrific Toon Time is just for you. It's fun, it's exciting, and it's adventure-filled too. Join us as we follow the characters you know and love. See what our hero Zach gets up to in Super Z. Dive into the action with Bugs Butt Ignition. Put on your explorer's cap and join Dada and Dada on their next adventure. And of course, we can't forget our cosmic friends on Galaxy Kids. Don't miss it. It's Terrific Toon Time only on TTT.
A new season equals new dreams, and many football fans are dreaming of their team actually winning this season. But the reality is that only one team can win. So many will just be dreaming and wishing and hoping that their team can deliver. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Notice I have not mentioned Arsenal. Don't be upset, I'm not mentioning Man U either. This is Atto Bolden inviting all of you to follow the 12th man as they celebrate a new season on TTT and enjoy the ride.
In Londonville, Central Trinidad, Pillars of Truth Evangelistic Outreach Ministry is expanding its mission beyond worship to direct social intervention. Led by Reverend Dr. Dale Devines, the ministry has long been involved in youth mentorship, skill development, and early childhood education. Now it is preparing to launch one of its most significant initiatives yet. It's called a community transitional home, and it's aimed at providing temporary shelter, counseling, and structured support for battered women and children seeking safety and a path toward restoration. Well, let's chat now with Reverend Dr. Dale Devines to discuss the ministry's expanding outreach efforts and in particular the vision behind the community transitional home. A really interesting one. Blessed morning to you, Reverend.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
Blessed, as they say, and highly favored.
Made the trek from Londonville all the way to Port of Spain this morning. Early morning. Yeah, so, Reverend, when people hear Pillars of Truth, what do you want them to understand about your church?
We are a church in the heart of the community, with a heart for the community. We believe that religious organizations play a pivotal role in the development of any society, long before governments were formed and policies were written. The church stood as a moral compass, a beacon of light in regards to pillars of strength in regards to stabilizing communities. And so when you hear about Pillars of Truth Ministry, you hear about a church with a heart for the community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, your philosophy says, let me get this correct, not just to preach the gospel, but to live the gospel, right? Mm-hmm. What does that really mean to you?
The church is called to be a light in a world of darkness. It means that you don't just preach a sermon, but your life must reflect what you preach. In other words, that you must live exactly what you talk about. We talk about change in our society, but in reality, change is not change until we change. If we keep doing the same thing the same way, we will get the same results. And then secondly, you cannot change what you refuse to confront. There are issues we need to deal with as a community, and therefore you have to confront those issues. And then thirdly, as the late Dr. Mahatma Gandhi says, change begins with us, not with those outside of us. So the change starts with us. So as a church, we believe that we must be that change we want to see in our community.
Yeah, and how does that philosophy show up in the way the church actually operates? I know you have a lot of initiatives as well, which we should talk about.
We have a lot. For instance, we have like a football team that we sponsor every year. So the guys meet ever so often for training, and then we sit with them and we discuss life issues as well while we are on a play field. So it means that the way people think affects the way they live. And so changing people's mindset affects their life set. And so we believe that in impacting young people, we're better able to help them become better and not stay bitter. And then we have a preschool. Yeah, we have a preschool at the same facility as well, where we have believed that early childhood education is so important, but also spiritual grounding, being able to ground them spiritually. As the Bible which says, train up a child in the way they should grow, so that when they're old, they will not depart from it. So we believe in spiritual foundation. And then we have like a life skills center, where we teach the community as well life skills. bread and cake making, drapery courses, sewing courses. So we do all of that to help empower our community to become better.
And you focus a lot on the young people in the community. Why is that so important for you?
Because the young people are the future of our nation. And I think that a lot must be targeted towards our young people in regards to a sustainable and a more secure future. If we neglect our young people, then we're going to find ourselves in some serious problems as we journey along. It is said that to educate a child in his mind and not in his moral is to educate a menace to society. And so we need to understand the importance of investing in our young people.
And tell me about the idea of this community transitional home. That was something that really stood out to me. And it's a great cause.
Yes. It's a transitional home. It's not a safe house. It's a place of refuge where we're targeting more victims of domestic violence and abuse, where they can come, they can spend like a 3 to 6 months period. Within that period, they're going to have programs that will be able to help them recover and get themselves back on the road again in regards to their own personal journey. So we saw this as a need in our community, as there were so many people who have been abused and going through so many stuff in their own personal lives. And we recognize that prayer is one thing, and we believe in the power of prayer. But more needs to be done in regards to helping people restore and reconcile their lives and get back on their feet in regards to some of the challenges they have to navigate personally. And so we decided we were going to do that. And so the church purchased 3 lots of land with a 7-bedroom apartment. And the intention of that was to convert that apartment into a transitional home, which we are doing currently. So we're in the process of renovating the apartment and outfitting it so we can commission it very soon for use. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and can members of the public contribute to that?
That's right.
Yeah, and if they wanted to contribute to this cause, how can they do that?
They can do so by calling 707-6613. or 731-7871, definitely.
And tell us, where exactly is the church located?
It is at Raghunath Avenue, Amaru Singh Street in Londonville. It is right behind the ice factory, if anybody knows where the ice factory is.
Iconic ice factory.
That's right. So it's right there, you don't have to go long. You just swing into Enterprise Street, you turn left, and the building is on your right. It's a big blue building, but the entire facility is monitored by the church, is controlled by the church.
Well, Reverend, as I have you here on a closing and deeper note, if someone, especially a young person or anyone, is feeling broken or disconnected spiritually or personally, where do they even begin?
I'm glad you asked, because we have what you call a Big Brothers program and a sisterhood program as well. So we invite young men who are challenged in whatever area of their lives to meet every so often at the church. And so we have what you call group discussions, where we're able to better assess their situations and give help. We have a very, very competent counseling team as well, but is well trained and certified, and therefore they stand by to assist in developing young people as well. Whatever the area is, drugs, whatever you're affected by, we are there to help to ensure that you get back on your feet and you do not remain bitter, but you become better.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Dale Davies. Any closing words before we wrap up?
Thank you so much for having us this morning. We are so happy to be here. And just in case you would like to assist us in renovating and being a part of that particular project, you can call again 707-6613 or 731-7871. God bless you. Wonderful.
Yeah. Well, remember, for all the stories that you see here, you can find it online at TTT Live Online, so you'll get the opportunity to catch this again, and of course all the information. 6:44. When we come back, we're talking all about spaying and neutering your pets. This week we observed World Spay Day. That and more on TNT Today.
In a world filled with uncertainty, there is still hope. When the weight feels heavy and the night feels long, remember, your story isn't over. God's promises are still true, His love is still strong, and your breakthrough is still coming. Join us for Messages of Hope, Words of Encouragement with Pastor Jesse, presented by Youth Fires. Hope lives here, only on TTT.
Now listen, this is your boy Carlos Edwards, and as a former player, let me tell you, it's the fans, man. The fans that made the game, that's the 12th man right there. And when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago, there's only one 12th man you need to know. My guy, Andre Errol Baptiste on TTT, is bringing the heat every Thursday.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
This powerful verse from the Holy Quran invites us to embrace reflection, self-discipline, and spiritual renewal. Join us daily on TTT Limited for special Ramadan features, inspiring messages, heartfelt moments of devotion, and reflections that uplift our nation.
You ever hear them old people say, laughter is medicine for the soul? Laughing with your children, not at them, helps create a comfortable and fun family environment. Laugh at your silliness and jokes. Laugh till your belly bursts. Encourage them to see the funny side of things and situations. Laughter relieves stress and promotes confidence in children. At the end of the day, do your best. Share if you found this useful, and like and follow CTA's profiles for more parenting tips. The letter of the day is H. H is for humor.
Well, before the next guest joins us, I wanted to take a moment this morning to tell you about my recent visit to the Caroni Bird Sanctuary, where we went to feed the dogs and the cats, well, mostly the dumped dogs and cats of all ages. Words honestly fail me whenever I try to explain how terrible the situation is in this country. The dumping, abuse, people refusing to spay and neuter their animals, which results in unwanted litters. When will it end, Trinidad and Tobago? We're continuously reminded that our rescuers, our shelters, fill to capacity, citizens who pitch in every single day to donate food and vet care. Even the vets who do the best that they can with whatever little resources that these abandoned animals are given by kind humans. This is really unacceptable and inhumane. It is not the way we were meant to live, nor the way we were meant to exist with all other beings. So I'm urging you this morning, please, if you can help, please do. Every little bit counts. Please adopt if you can. Don't shop. If you're thinking of getting a pet for yourself or your family, well, please remember, they are your responsibility for the duration of their lives, and you really can't just give them up and leave them to fend for themselves. In a cruel world, I'm urging you this morning, please be kind. A small meal, some water, anything for a helpless and innocent animal will really, really, really go a long way. Well, with that in mind, this week, the world marked World Spay Day, a global initiative raising awareness about the importance of spaying and neutering pets. But here in Trinidad and Tobago, this isn't just a global conversation. It is a national crisis. And I'm sure my next guest will agree. Animal dumping has become alarmingly common. At the heart of this issue is one major factor: uncontrolled breeding. So this morning, we're asking how much of this suffering could be prevented through responsible pet ownership. And joining us is Dr. Paul Crooks, the media liaison for the Trinidad and Tobago Veterinary Association, to help us understand the medical, ethical, and of course, societal importance of spaying and neutering our pets. Good morning, Doctor, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
So for viewers who may not fully understand, what exactly is spaying and neutering, and what does it involve medically for your pets?
Well, spaying and neutering, those terms were largely popularized by Bob Barker back in the day for those of us who are older on The Price is Right. And basically, they became the terms, the catch-all terms for the surgical prevention of reproduction in female and male pets, female being spaying, male being neutering. What we would ultimately do, the ultimate aim of these surgeries, would be to remove the gonads, the primary reproductive organs that are responsible for production of the sex hormones. That's a major aim. So in the female, we would remove the ovaries primarily, and in the male, we remove the testicles primarily. Now, depending on the surgery, depending on the surgeon, they may want to remove other things. For the most part, veterinarians are trained to remove the womb as well. So the basic sort of standard practice is the ovaries and the womb, where the babies or the puppies are carried. Those are all removed. Now, of course, you would have alluded to why this is done. Ultimately, we are trying to control the stray animal population. And if we extrapolate on what the stray animal population can do or can cause in society, we recognize that it is an extremely important part of our care for the animals in this country. All the animals here are our burden and our responsibility. And certainly we should be kind. But especially if you own an animal, do you want this animal producing 100 puppies in its lifetime? Do you want this animal producing 100 kittens in its lifetime? And what are you going to do with those 100 kittens and 100 puppies? And very importantly, I like to remind people of this before we go back to you for another question, but basically, an animal, if you own an animal, it is a privilege. It is not a right. And there are many people in Trinidad and Tobago, across the Caribbean and across the world, who think it is their right to hoard animals or to have as many animals as they can. Well, I shouldn't even say as they can, because many of these people don't keep the animals in a good state of health or a good state of care. But ultimately, you have to consider your decisions impact others. And the cat, just as an example, can be an invasive species compared to like the lionfish that destroys marine populations, or various species of aquatic life destroyed, or marine life are destroyed by the lionfish. And therefore, we are encouraged to consume more lionfish and to decrease the population of lionfish. The cats that we have at the Carney Bird Sanctuary, as highlighted in that video, are absolutely devastating populations of wild birds, wild lizards, at least in that area. And therefore, it is not something that we can turn a blind eye to, because, of course, we need our biodiversity for tourism and so many other things. So I'll stop there for now.
Well, Doc, at what age should pets ideally be spayed or neutered? Is it ever really too late to do that for your pets?
No, it's not too late. But as with everything else regarding the medical care of your pet, you should discuss it with your qualified registered veterinarian. Please do not go to a non-vet or the fella down the road or the animal health assistant that you hear about. Please ensure that it is a registered veterinarian who is giving you advice and providing the guidance and support for your patient. However, every case is an individual case and has to be assessed individually. For the most part, assuming that your dog is healthy, surgical procedures such as a spay can be performed with very little risk throughout the animal's life. But as an animal gets older, just like in human medicine, the risks do increase. So our recommendation is, generally, if you have no intention of breeding the dog or the cat, please consider getting it spayed. Normally, we would recommend before the first heat. Traditionally, we would have recommended before the first heat, which is approximately 7 months of age. However, as more and more research has been conducted, it seems that especially in larger breed dogs, it might be advisable to put off the reproductive surgery until they're about 2 years old to allow for their growth plates in the bones to fuse well and for them to, I guess, grow to their best potential. So for larger breed dogs, about 2 years is fine. For mixed breed dogs or dogs that are just roaming, we recommend spaying them as soon as possible, which is around 7 months of age.
Well, Doc, my final question to you before we wrap up. There's so much I really want to talk about, but I just want to have you weigh in on this. You know, pet owners are concerned about the cost of doing this, but when we really compare the cost of a spay or a neuter versus the cost of caring for multiple litters or the problem that we have in society, I mean, really, the financial equation, what does it look like?
Yeah, it is by far better to pay for the animal to be spayed, regardless of the cost where you find that surgery, because in Trinidad and Tobago, we try to keep the cost down as veterinarians, even if you pay somewhere in the range of $3,000, depending on the veterinarian, depending on the surgical procedure, depending on the environment. Even let's say you pay somewhere in the range of $3,000 for that, there's no way that compares to the cost of caring for each of these animals in the way that they need to be cared for. And I hear many owners say, oh, I'll just give them away. Yeah, that sounds easy, but I want you to try to post advertisements on social media to see how many friends are actually willing to keep these animals. And when they do keep these animals, are they going to care for them? So bottom line is, if you're not sure what you want to do with your dog, with what you want to do with your cat, please call your vet and organize to get it spayed or neutered.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul Crooks, for joining us this morning, talking about an issue that obviously is an ongoing conversation, and we'd love to have you back on the show. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for weighing in. The abandonment issue, it is overwhelming at this point, so we continue to ask you, if you can help in any small way, please do that. That's where we wrap it up this morning for our first hour on Trinidad and Tobago Today. Of course, there are NGO low-cost programs that you can look into. Maybe that's something we'll talk about next week. Follow us for all the stories that you see here and more at TTT Live Online. If you have a story idea, a press release, or you simply want to collaborate with us, we really would love to hear from you. Contact us today at ttt@ttt.co.tt and be part of the conversation that's shaping our nation. TNT Today, news you can trust and stories that matter. Inside the next hour, we're talking about walls for change, how we're using art and our youth, and so much more on Trinidad and Tobago Today. Carrie's up next with the major network news.
Good morning, this is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has returned to Trinidad and Tobago following her participation in the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting held in St. Kitts and Nevis. The regional summit brought together leaders from across the Caribbean community to address pressing issues affecting the region, including economic resilience, climate change adaptation, food security, energy cooperation, and regional security. During the high-level discussions, Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar engaged with fellow heads of government on strategies aimed at strengthening collaboration and advancing sustainable development initiatives within CARICOM. Her attendance at the meeting underscores Trinidad and Tobago's continued commitment to regional integration and collective action, particularly at a time when Caribbean states are navigating global economic pressures and climate-related challenges. The Prime Minister is expected to brief Cabinet and other key stakeholders on the outcomes of the meeting and the implications for national policy in the coming days. In other news, several government ministers have publicly thrown their full support behind Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar after her remarks at the 50th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM in Basseterre, St. Kitts and Nevis on Tuesday. Among them was Acting Prime Minister Jerlene John, who declared her full support and endorsement of the positions articulated in the Prime Minister's address. She said rather than burying her head in the sand, Mrs. Persad-Bissessar chose to confront issues that are too often left unspoken in regional forums. Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur declared that he firmly supported the powerful and principled statement delivered by Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar. He added that he was proud to serve in her government and to work under her leadership in advancing the best interests of the nation. Minister of Land and Legal Affairs and Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Saddam Hussein, described the Prime Minister's address as a speech that broke away from the usual diplomatic platitudes. He praised Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar for addressing real-world struggles facing Trinidad and Tobago, from the scourge of gang violence to the complexities of illegal immigration. Minister of Health Dr. Lakram Bodo also commended the Prime Minister for what he described as a courageous, clear-eyed and patriotic address. Dr. Bodo stated that the Prime Minister's address demonstrated strong leadership rooted in sovereignty, accountability and national interest, while reaffirming Trinidad and Tobago's continued commitment to regional cooperation. Minister of Justice Devish Maharaj also offered strong praise for the Prime Minister, stating that she spoke with clarity and unwavering resolve on issues that directly impact the safety and future of Trinidad and Tobago. In more news, the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, TUTA, met with the Teaching Service Commission, TSC, in a virtual meeting on Wednesday, 25 February 2026, describing the talks as productive. The union says it advanced several key concerns affecting teachers and secured clearer pathways for follow-up, reaffirming its commitment to strong representation on behalf of educators. Among the matters discussed were acting appointments, with the Commission clarifying that no directive had been issued to the Ministry of Education on acting versus performing duties, and that formal recommendations are required before appointment letters can be issued. TUTA says it will now seek answers from the ministry regarding reported delays. The Commission also cited understaffing and administrative challenges as reasons for slow communication with teachers, but assured that once matters are formally submitted through TUTA, feedback will be provided. Additionally, the issue of confirming Assistant Teachers Principals, or ATPs, will be raised with the Ministry of Education and the Chief Personnel Officer for resolution. Now in sport. For Akil Campbell, medaling in the men's elimination race at the Pan American Track Cycling Championships was something he's been eyeing for quite some time. Campbell, who won bronze in the men's scratch and elimination race, was delighted with his performance and will now shift his attention to preparing for the Nations Cup to be held in Hong Kong in April.
Never medal in the elimination at this event before, and it's a pet event, and I've always been trying to medal, and it was just, I wouldn't say hard, but it was just always never to be, and it happened to be this year, and I'm just grateful to be able to win a medal this year in the elimination. The scratches, I kind of just more played to my strength, hoping they would come to a sprint. One guy got away solo, and the buns never really chased him, and he ended up staying away and winning, and it was just a field sprint for second and third, and I managed to get third and set a second.
And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. After the break, we return to Trinidad and Tobago Today.
Talk
City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1. Bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
So I'll go right to on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Long time we grew up learning to respect our elders. But what about children? Do we need to give and show respect to children as well? We certainly do, and I'll tell you why. Showing respect to your child can help them feel valued and build their self-esteem. Respect is a two-way road. They show respect to you, and in turn, you give them a chance to speak. Listen to their opinions and treat them with kindness and courtesy. Showing respect to children also helps them to succeed later in life. So remember, children deserve respect too. At the end of the day, keep trying your best and share if you found this useful. Like and follow our profile for more parenting tips. The letter of the day is R for respect.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
O'clock on Trinidad and Tobago today. Well, if you missed the first hour, and I really doubt you did, we spoke a little bit more about the PM's address at CARICOM, of course, community outreach from that church in Londonville, and of course, why you should spay and neuter your pets. For all the stories, if you missed it or you want to watch them again, you can check us out at TTT Live Online. If you have a story idea, a press release, or you want to collaborate with us, well, we really would love to hear from you. Contact us today at ttt@ttt.co.tt, and you can be a part of the conversation that's shaping our nation. TNT Today, all the news you can trust, and of course, all the stories that really, really matter. Well, speaking of the stories that really matter, bullying and gender-based violence continue to impact young people across Trinidad and Tobago, often silently, often invisibly. But what if school walls could speak? What if they could tell stories of courage, empathy, and resilience? The Ministry of People, Social Development and Family Services, through its Gender and Child Affairs Division, has launched a national art competition titled Walls for Change. Stand together to end bullying and gender-based violence. Well, joining us this morning to discuss this powerful initiative is Senator Dr. Natalie Chaitan Maharaj. Good morning, Senator, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Well, this is a really exciting new program and initiative. But what exactly is Walls for Change, and why was this created?
Okay, so Walls for Change is basics and art competition that we are launching for primary and secondary schools to invite children between the ages of 7 and 17 to submit art pieces towards the competition along the themes of anti-bullying and gender-based violence. In a broader sense, it's our way of helping bring awareness to the issue, helping bring children into becoming more knowledgeable and more proactive about the issue from a young age so that we can change mindsets going forward. I am a doctor in a previous life, so to me it is always better to prevent than cure. So while we are also tackling issues of bullying in schools as it happens, this project is aimed at helping to prevent it becoming an issue as generations progress.
Why use art as the approach to address bullying and gender-based violence?
I think art is a medium that allows us to address any issue. More importantly, it is a medium that speaks to this age group. It allows them to be able to express their feelings where they may not have the capacity for the words. So using art to bring the issue of anti-bullying and gender-based violence to the forum is more malleable to the age group that we are aiming to bring the most impact to.
And what does the national context tell us about the need for this initiative at this time?
I think nationally we have all recognized, even more so in recent times, that bullying and violence and gender-based violence in schools has become quite an issue. We've all seen the TikToks and the reels about violence in schools. We also need to realize that that bullying in schools is not what it was a generation ago, just fists and fights. Now it extends into cyberbullying as well, and we need to address the silent aspect of it that we don't see on the road that social media brings in now, because this generation is very much embedded in social media as well.
And who is eligible to participate in Walls for Change?
So we have 2 categories in the competition. The anti-bullying aspect of it, we are accepting submissions from primary school to secondary, so 7 to 17. And the gender-based violence, we have included it for secondary school, so 13 to 17-year-old. We think that's more suitable to that age group, so that allowing submissions for gender-based violence in the older age groups as well helps them be able to foster the concept of healthy relationships between each other.
And I know this initiative uses themes. So what are the themes that the students can explore in Walls for Change?
So when we speak about anti-bullying and we speak about gender-based violence, we don't want the competition's art pieces to be negative. We want it to promote the positive, proactive, preventative. So we would like the submissions to allow the children to display what they think anti-bullying should look like. Good relationships between each other, support for each other, empathy and compassion.
Yeah, and the entries now, how can students actually enter or submit these entries for it?
We are taking all entries via online databases, so we can have parents and students go to the ministry's website, www.social.gov.tt/WFC, that's for Walls for Change. All the instructions for the sizes of the pieces, the type of pieces that can be submitted will be there. Also, they will find along with the submission information, a form for parents or guardians to fill out allowing permission to participate. And the deadline for submissions, we have the competition going until the end of March.
And any reward system, any prizes, recognition? I know we're always excited about that.
It's a competition, so the rewards part of it for the kids, the prizes will range between laptops and tablets. We are also aiming to give desktops to the schools. More importantly for me than the prizes, which is the initial incentive to interest a child maybe, is the fact that we want to use the submissions for the name of the project, Walls for Change. The winning pieces we would hope to convert into murals and have them installed in the schools.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to. On a personal note for you, Senator, you had a recent post on Facebook and you actually described yourself, well, you proudly called yourself a nerd and also someone who understands firsthand how bullying can affect a child. So why was it so important for you to also publicly put yourself out there and connect your personal experience to this initiative?
For me, I with my line minister representing the Ministry of the People. So it is most important to be able to do projects that help you as a person connect with our people of the country. So I'm very much a self-declared nerd, and this project, nerds and people interested in academia and for any other reason who is bullied in schools, or it stays with you and it stays in your core memories and it forms who you are, sometimes not always in a positive way. So doing this project and allowing the whole discussion about it to become open and more positive, to stop it from happening in the first place to a child, by doing the murals, by putting them on the walls at the end of this competition, it allows children to learn subliminally by osmosis.
Yeah.
To know every day that when you see this winning mural, this poster about being positive, not bullying, being positive in your relationships against violence, it allows the nerds, anyone else affected by it, it allows it to stop, and it allows our children to become more positive, more empathetic, more compassionate going forward.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who was also bullied in primary school, that really stayed with me and shaped so much of your years going into secondary school as well. It really, really stays with you. What impact does the ministry hope that this competition will have? I know it's, as you spoke about, the public and educational awareness. It is an amazing initiative. But what does the ministry hope will come out of this competition?
That awareness spreads, that the incidents of bullying, both physical and cyberbullying, all statistically decrease long term, that our generations of children coming forward become more compassionate people, more empathetic people, have a much greater sense of emotional intelligence, that they are able to regulate their emotions, and that will affect so many sectors of our society going forward.
Definitely. And what message, on a closing note, would you like to send to parents and schools this morning?
Please participate. Please take the time when you are doing these projects with your children to have the discussions around it as well. So it's not just a piece of artwork and a prize, but it really serves the purpose that we are aiming for.
Yeah. And before we wrap up, just a note about bullying once more. On a personal note, what would you like to say to students looking on who may have also been bullied or are being bullied in schools, or even the bullies themselves?
To speak to the bullies themselves, to look within and consider why it is that you act harshly or unkindly to your classmates and to your colleagues, and maybe ask for help for those inner issues. To the victims, to be strong, to again seek help, to know that you are not alone and there are strength in numbers when you support each other.
Thank you so much. Walls for Change, that's something we will continue to update you on. We cannot wait to see all the contributions for it. I'm sure it's going to be really beautiful murals, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be lovely. Walls for Change, thank you for joining us, Dr. Natalie Chaitan Maharaj, this morning on Trinidad and Tobago Today. Well, when we come back, the conversation continues about everything happening in Trinidad and Tobago, of course. We're talking to the LSA. Applications are open, land for the landless. Also, we end on a funny note today. That's something you want to stick around to see on TNT Today when we come back.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1, bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry-Leen Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
So I'll go right to on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
In a world filled with uncertainty, there is still hope. When the weight feels heavy and the night feels long, remember, your story isn't over. God's promises are still true, His love is still strong, and your breakthrough is still coming. Join us for Messages of Hope, Words of Encouragement with Pastor Jesse, presented by Youth Fires. Hope lives here, only on TTT.
That time of the year again, my friends. Feel it in the air. Football, football, football. It's back. Everyone's locked in. This is Richard Torpedo Thompson, and my Trinidad and Tobago people. I'll stay this straight. Fans make the game. Cheers, chants, passion. That's the heartbeat of football. There's only one 12th man that really brings the energy. That's Andre Errol Batiste on TTT. Every Thursday on TTT. Don't miss it.
Access to land has long been one of the most pressing social and economic issues in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm sure you will agree, especially for families without secure housing. Well, now the Land Settlement Agency has officially opened applications for the Land for the Landless program, offering eligible citizens an opportunity to move one step closer to land ownership. Well, joining us this morning on TNT Today to discuss the program, the application process, and what this truly means for citizens, we have this morning the chairman of the Land Settlement Agency, Ms. Nisha Matura-Alahar, and we're going to talk all about land for the landless.
Yes, my favorite topic. Thank you for having me.
I know you've been busy, lots of things to talk about, and
Yes.
this is a really, really big initiative and program, and a commendable one as well. So what exactly is Land for the Landless?
So Land for the Landless is really targeted for low and middle income persons, and it's really to make land available for housing purposes. Not everybody wants to live in an apartment. Not everybody wants to buy a house and land. A lot of people like to build their own. So we're making land available, and it's more affordable than what is on the private market.
And what are the eligibility criteria for this program?
So you must be a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. You must be over 18 years old. You must have a job, so you will have to provide source of income. You must not be the benefit of any state subsidy, previous state subsidy, and of course you must be landless.
Okay.
You have no property in your name.
Okay, understood. And how can persons apply for this?
So we have applications are all online, and you can go onto our website, which is www.tttl.org. www.lsatt.com, right? And the application forms are all online. So once you go onto our website, you would be led onto the application form.
And what documents do you need to apply?
Well, your birth certificate, job, proof of job, proof of citizenship, your ID, etc. We have streamlined the applications, and we have made it very, very simple. So it's just a matter of filling out a few pages online and submitting it. And once you submit, you get a real-time receipt or evidence of your submission.
And what would people receive from this program exactly?
So what they receive is a fully approved parcel of land in order that, and with a deed of lease for 199 years, so that you could build your house on. You have 3 years to build your house. And so you'll be owning a property, a part of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, that is actually really heartwarming. Well, over the years, the various governments, they've sought to implement different land distribution programs, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
But how does this program differ from other land distribution programs?
Okay, so first of all, it's not necessarily a distribution program because the land is not free. Whenever the state provides housing, it is highly subsidized. This one, we are providing persons the opportunity to purchase land, and they will be at 30 to 50% the value of the property. So there is a subsidy, but you get to build your own house on the parcel of land. So it is really for persons who need a place to live, right? Persons who are landless, who don't have a place to call home. Yes.
And you also mentioned that you would be targeting sectors, and what exactly does that entail?
Sectors of the population.
Yeah.
So we have about 60% for general applicants, 20% for state employees, and 20%, we're very proud about this limb, 20% for recent graduates of tertiary education. Once you have graduated within 5 years, you can make an application, and 20% of the lands should be allocated to those types of persons. Because a lot of times you have your degree, but you can't necessarily afford a property.
Yeah.
Yes, you come out, you graduate from university, you get your first job, but you can't necessarily at the market prices afford to own a home. And once you get your job, you get your degree, you want to move on in life. So we have put a limit for recent graduates as well.
I want to talk about cost a little bit because I know a lot of the viewers will be interested in that. You've indicated that these lots will be subsidized, right? So what is the cost of the lot? Can you tell us that?
So it all depends on the area.
Okay.
Of the area and the value of the lot. So all will be valued. I would say in the region between, let's say, 60,000 to probably 150,000, 200,000, all depends on the area.
Okay.
That the land is situated.
And how are the areas selected for the
So
applicants?
this would have been areas that would have been developed before.
Okay.
And that we have accessible to us.
Yeah.
So we have Diamond Picton, we have Chin Chin, we have Bukaro, we have Factory Road in Chaguanas. And of course, this is only a first phase. So we expect to do a second phase where we will have more areas available. But all of the lots are fully approved, so persons should be able to get their financing if they need financing. Or I know a lot of people have savings and they hope to use their savings to purchase the land. Because the thing is, we're thinking that it's a subsidy for land, that should be all. But the thing is, you're getting the land, but you also have to build your house as well.
Yeah.
And we're giving persons at least 3 years to be able to build their house.
Yeah. And now that applications are open, you're going to have a large influx of people, a large pool of applicants, especially on the website. So how are you going to select beneficiaries?
So far we've had, it's been 3 days. 3 days, 4 days, we've had about 6,000 applications all online. Now, I should also mention that for those persons who are not so tech savvy and who need help with their online applications, we have 4 ICT access centers or hubs, we call them, where persons can go. And we have persons employed by the LSA who can give you information.
So assistance to apply as well.
And help you with your online application.
Yeah.
The other thing we're very proud about is that we also have an app. So you can apply on your phone and you would be able to get information about your status of your application on your phone once you download the app.
What's the name of the app?
It's LSA.
Okay. So maybe you can look it up on your
Land for the
on your app
Landless.
store.
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing.
And we can help them download the app. If persons come to the hub, you will need an email address. I didn't mention that.
Okay.
Because it's all online. So even if you don't have an email address, at these centers, we have people who can help you get your email address and for the application. So it is hoped that because we have that level of communication, we'll be able to inform you, the status of your application. Because a lot of times lots of people applies for these various programs, and then you don't know what happens. It's like your application goes into the ether. So we're hoping to be able to communicate real time with all of the applicants and inform them what is the status of your application, how far have you reached, and we will be facilitating everyone.
Yeah, to be able to track your application.
We also have a phone number
okay.
that is available for persons, because sometimes, I don't know if anybody ever applied for a visa, but it's like pages on pages of information that you have to upload. We made an effort to make it as simple as possible, and so far the feedback has been very good. Everybody has been saying they've been able to do it themselves, so much so that the ICT access centers are a bit underutilized. But I want to encourage people to apply.
Yeah, and when does the application period close?
The end of February.
And what happens after that period has closed?
Sorry, the end of March, because it's 1 month.
Okay, right.
1 month.
And what happens after that period has closed?
So we're not even waiting for the period to close. We start processing applicants. We have a point basis, which we will assess the applicants, because of course you have to be able to afford your home. You have to be a citizen. You have to be over 18 years. So we have to go through your information. We will also be doing searches to make sure that you have not benefited or you don't own property, because that has something that is concerning. You don't want, it's not an investment property per se, like an extra property that you rent out. This is ready for persons who need housing and who need a place to call home that they need to occupy.
Yeah.
So we will be doing searches to make sure that you don't have property in your name.
Okay.
For sure, because it's for first-time homeowners.
Okay.
Or persons who need land that way.
Beneficiaries, might be wondering, how would they be able to complete the payment? Is there any payment mechanism that the LSA has set up for that?
Well, we are hoping to partner with some institutions. That's not finalized as yet, but it will be by the time you're ready to enter into your agreement for sale. So we are going with a stipulated process where you make a 10% deposit and payment is due in 90 days, which is the usual standard. So, but we will be willing to work with persons with respect to payments, etc., and help them, channel them in the right direction.
And I'm going to stretch it a little bit further and ask if this is just about distribution of land. Well, not distribution, you said, but land, or are you assisting with construction as well?
So we have approved house plans. We have about 3 or 4 approved house plans, and these are available free of charge. So if even you have your contractor, but you're not quite sure, you can build according to our house plan, and we will make them available free of charge.
So can you give us that website again?
So it's www.lsatt.com.
And what would you say to people as we close to take advantage of this, especially, the younger people? You said there's that incentive if you've just graduated within 5 years.
Yes, as well as state employees. I want to encourage them to make your applications if you're interested, and we are trying to deliver leases on time, agreements on time. Take advantage of the opportunities that are available.
I love that. Land for the Landless by the LSA. Thank you so much, Ms. Nisha Matura Alahar, Chairman of the LSA, for joining us this morning on TNT Today. And we do look forward to seeing the progress of this. You have 1 month. Applications close off.
Yes, we can come back. We can come back and report.
Yeah, well, that would be great. Applications close at the end of March, you said?
No, the end of, I think it's 1 month. It's 23rd of February to 23rd of March.
Okay,
yes.
so you have just about a little under a month to get your applications in, and you heard the website information as well. Well, we obviously have this for you a little later on TNT Live Online, so you can check that out. 7:35, that's the time when we come back. Comedy and so much more on Trinidad and Tobago today. How is your morning? I hope it's going really well for you.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's Terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world on Super Z, or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forest alongside our robot pals from Bugspot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. It's fun-filled adventure with Terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
One day I was out playing with my friend Kevin and he was really moody, kinda sad and angry at the same time. I asked him what was the matter. Someone in his family had been doing mean things to him. He said he had to keep it a secret. So I asked Kevin, is it a good secret or a bad secret? He said he didn't know. I explained good secrets are cool things like a surprise party or a gift for a special occasion. A bad secret is when someone hurts or harms you and tells you not to tell anyone. Sometimes they might give you little things to make sure you don't tell. That's another bad secret to keep. That's mean and controlling. Kevin said it definitely fell into the bad secret category. I felt this was something an adult should help with. Because as a child, when someone hurts you, you can feel really alone and afraid. And the best people to help you are the ones you love and really, really trust. I asked him if there was any adult that he trusted. So we worked up a little plan for Kevin to talk to one of them. A while after that, I could see my friend was doing much better. Now we tell all our pals about good secrets and bad secrets so that we can all feel brave, safe, and strong. Break the silence. Child abuse is one secret you should never keep.
A new season equals new dreams, and many football fans are dreaming of their team actually winning this season. But the reality is that only one team can win. So many will just be dreaming and wishing and hoping that their team can deliver. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Notice I have not mentioned Arsenal. Don't be upset, I'm not mentioning Man U either. This is Atto Bolden inviting all of you to follow the 12th man as they celebrate a new season on TTT and enjoy the ride.
Your world moves fast, so do we. TTT News brings you the people, events, and issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay ahead. TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago is absolutely beautiful. So many places I bet you probably never knew existed. Well, I always like to ask, where in the world is Cari today? Or where in Trinidad and Tobago is Cari? Well, one of the oldest and most historically significant towns in Tobago, Plymouth, served as a key site for the various European settlers in the island since the 1600s. Control of the area changed hands throughout its history, with evidence of its layered colonial past still present. We join Cari Roberts now as he tours 3 historic sites in Plymouth for this installment of Right Here.
Like most of the Caribbean, Tobago was inhabited by tribes of indigenous peoples, later referred to by the generalized term Amerindians. On his third voyage to the so-called New World, Italian-born, Spanish-employed mercenary Christopher Columbus happened upon the populated island in 1498, later claiming he discovered it. He dubbed the island Bella Forme. Nearly 100 years later, in 1596, the British claimed sovereignty of Tobago. Attempts were made by both the Dutch and British to create settlements, but these attempts failed as the indigenous people successfully defended their land. It wasn't until 1642 that there was a sustained European settlement, founded by the Colanders, in the area known as Plymouth today. According to the records posted at the site of the Colin Monument, it was a free town with a diverse population that engaged in global trade, making Plymouth, then called Jacobstad, the first capital of Tobago. Naturally, the first stop on any Plymouth tour is the Colin Monument. This striking landmark honors the first European settlers from Coland, today's Latvia, who made Tobago their home. Designed by a Coronian in exile and brought to life by local sculptor Yanis Minkis in 1978, it stands as a symbol of shared heritage. Set on a breezy rise with views of Great Colin Bay, the monument is framed by open lawns and shady trees. A serene spot where descendants still gather to celebrate the enduring ties between Tobago and their ancestors. The next must-see site in Plymouth has long been an enigma, stirring more questions than providing answers. The final resting place of Betty Stephen, commonly known as Mystery Tombstone, has stoked many an imagination for well over a century by the cryptic words engraved upon it. People from the village and beyond postulate numerous theories and share several tales purporting to explain the meaning of the inscription. Some describe tales of a forbidden romance between an enslaved girl and her master, while other rumors state that she died during an unconscious childbirth. Myths even vary on the number of children she was said to have birthed, ranging from 1 to sextuplets. The truth? Probably lost forever. Still, the magnetism of the mystery shows no sign of fading. The last leg of the Plymouth trip takes us to Fort James. Perched high above the turquoise waters of Great Colin Bay, Fort James is where centuries of history meet Tobago's laid-back charm. First built by the British in the 1760s as a military barracks, and later a 4-gun battery guarding the bay, the fort has witnessed uprisings, battles, and even a brief French occupation. Today, the echoes of that past remain in its weathered stone walls and cannons, now set amid lawns and shady trees. Visitors can wander the grounds, take in panoramic views of the bay, and enjoy one of the island's most picturesque spots for sightseeing, relaxing, or a picnic. Plymouth sites show off Tobago's vibrant past and is a place where history lingers in stone and story. Yet, the island's natural beauty invites visitors to pause, take in the views, and feel the living connection between the Tobago of then and today. I'm Carrie Roberts, giving you a glimpse into the paradise we have right here.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
Terrific Toon Time is just for you. It's fun, it's exciting, and it's adventure-filled too. Join us as we follow the characters you know and love. See what our hero Zack gets up to in Super Z. Dive into the action with Bugs Butt Ignition. Put on your explorer's cap and join Dada and Dada on their next adventure. And of course, we can't forget our cosmic friends on Galaxy Kids. Don't miss it. It's Terrific Toon Time only on TTT.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
This powerful verse from the Holy Quran invites us to embrace reflection, self-discipline, and spiritual renewal. Join us daily on TTT Limited for special Ramadan features, inspiring messages, heartfelt moments of devotion, and reflections that uplift our nation.
The show you all been waiting for. Laugh till your belly busts.
Boy, you can't give me talk, boy. You so ugly and here you watching the mirror and your reflection drop. Let me face, let me pelt that dog. Boy, you can't give me no talk, boy. Look at your teeth. The way it's spaced out, it's making your tongue look like it's in jail. You're suffering from exactly, your mouth smells exactly like your bottom.
In partnership with Talk City 91.1 FM and TTT Limited, 28th of February at Napa, Port of Spain. Showtime, 8 p.m. sharp. Come see the funniest guys on the planet and the man who took social media by storm, Victor St. Louis, a.k.a. Pelp.
Yeah, nah, things so hard right now in Trinidad. You know, a store in tongue, no fire, too many kids.
All his funny friends. Kenneth Sipasa, the greatest storytime teller ever. Shaquille, Louis Spider-Man Antoine, Andrew Friday, The Saint.
Listen, me no first it's so expensive. I went and priced a plate there. You know, it's telling me $10,000 for a plate. I say, oh, there are no sauces.
And Paniska is back.
Stop it, honey. Don't bring all the dog in me, you know. Let's
Get those tickets now. Ronnie and Caro, Mascap, Marava Road, Port of Spain, Bruce Bar, St. Augustine, and islandetickets.com. For ticket hotlines, call 278-5892, 316-0814, 382-9986. Laugh till your belly busts.
You know, I genuinely think I might be banned from these shows because I might be laughing really loudly and embarrassingly. Laugh till your belly busts. This morning, joining us again, Victor St. Louis, Pelf, and of course, Shaquille Story Time. They're talking all about this V Productions event called Laugh Till Your Belly Busts, and this is taking place when?
At the 28th of February, this Saturday at Napa.
That's one day away.
Yeah.
Well, Pelf, you're definitely no stranger to the set, but Mr. Shaquille Story Time, how are you?
Good morning, I'm good.
Where you get the name Story Time from?
I'm just telling stories.
Where you getting these stories?
Being unlucky.
Oh gosh.
Yes, man.
So what kinds of stories do you usually tell?
Life, everything that happens on a day to day that people don't really discuss.
Yeah.
You understand the things that like people wouldn't be able to come out and say, well, I get horn and how I get horn, how I feel from the horn and what I do from the horn.
Yeah, and you are...
mind, I find everybody does get horn. So
and you are on this show as well, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and you're going to be telling stories.
Sure.
I wonder if you'll tell a story about today.
We're going to see what happened today. Trust me, something happening right now.
So tell us about the cast for this show.
Well, the cast is especially big man in the business.
Shaquille.
Shaquille is a taken by the storm. Mm-hmm. The world just love him, especially ladies. I know what he do, but the ladies love him. And we are Saint.
Those Are the Drunk Man. We have Louis Antoine, Spider-Man. We have Kenneth C. Prasad. We have Andrew Friday, who acts as Ian Allen. He's doing a piece as Marshall, winning the road march, and as Jack Warner.
Yeah.
Then we also have
Save the best for last, huh?
yeah,
My
we
favorite.
have Victor St. Louis, Pell.
Right.
And we have Penis.
Right. That's my favorite character in all of this. Yeah, Shaquille, you don't particularly care for Peniska and this cast. All right.
I never see them.
I mean, you might have some stories to tell after this one, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So where can you get tickets for this event, Pelf?
Yeah, at you could get tickets at Island E. You could get it at Ronnie and Caro Mass Camp at Marvel Road. You could get it at Heifer's Bar, right across the street from
Right
TTT.
across the street.
You could get it at Port Rock, Frederick and Henry, Bruce Bar in St. Augustine. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a really trying time for a lot of people in the world. And, you know, comedy is such a relief when you all think about that. And you have a big role to play in society as well. Because, you know, after a long week, it's a Saturday, you want to unwind. People look to you all for that comic relief and just to feel good and to laugh and to reset for the weekend. What you think about that? That's a huge responsibility as comedians, right?
Yeah.
Correct, it is.
Correct, it's right.
Yeah, well, Pelf, you've been doing that for a while.
Yeah. He as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
so how long have you been storytelling?
Since I could, like high school.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it as a career.
Okay.
You understand? So.
You remember your first story?
I believe I remember my first story online.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how you started, you know, just recording and posting and all that? How did you start?
Them fellas on the street always tell me to tell stories. Go on TikTok and tell stories. I don't want to be a TikToker, so I won't do that.
Okay.
But a day I just was driving in a car, hence I'm always in a car telling a story.
Yeah.
And I told a story, and when I fell asleep the evening and got up back, I see 1,000 shares, so I thought it was a glitch.
Right.
So when I check again, it went to 2,000, I just keep on going from there. So I realize it's something people like.
Yeah.
I didn't know it's something that people
And where are you
gravitate
from?
to. I'm basically born in Trinidad, but I grew up most of my life in Tobago.
Okay.
So I could say I'm the perfect definition of a Trinbagonian.
That's right. Yeah, and is this your first comedy show?
No.
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 You've been doing this for a while on in the big shows.
Yeah.
But you are with some really big names who've, like Pelf, also Kenneth Supersad and the others who've been doing this for quite a while. What does that mean for you, you know, professionally?
I never see myself here. Honestly, I didn't see it. Honestly, I'm not a comedian. The comedians could do their thing, I could say. I'm a storyteller that people like these stories and like to laugh. You understand? To me, it's a big thing to me.
Yeah.
You know, so I never saw myself. I saw them on TV a lot of times.
Yeah.
Coming up, seeing the commercials all over. But to see myself as part of the commercial, it's a really good feeling. Everything's happening fast, everything going good, and this is a massive showing up, and I can't wait to touch the stage inside there.
So you're preparing for the show. How you been preparing for it?
I haven't been preparing. Like I said.
He hasn't been prepared.
Because he's automatic.
Yeah,
okay, so you just touch a stage and then automatically the stories come to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, serious, I don't. The stories are true.
Okay. Oh, they're true.
They are true stories.
You know, a storyteller could be a really good liar too, huh?
Yeah, they could say, yeah. But you have no reason to lie, so you cannot read it about the retrack. It's all true stories, so I don't ever forget what story to tell or what part in the story. Because experience is at the key. You can't really forget, so I don't practice. So you ask me if I'm ready for Saturday. I know I'm ready. You understand? But I didn't practice.
Well, you must have a lot of experience in order to be telling all these stories. Well, speaking of experience, as we said, you know, when you were here previously, you do have a lot of experience in this world of comedy. You know, before the show started today, I was playing them your song, Get On Board. You still perform?
A little bit, but I'm more into this now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you really just leave that behind?
I do stuff like I host Kaiso House, Skinner Park. You know what I mean? So I'm more into this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, well...
I can't take the jam into the soca thing.
Seriously?
No.
Well, one day I really hope that you'll come and perform Get On Board for us.
Yes,
that's still going to be my favorite
My
song.
price is 18 million.
Oh, my. Well, Shaquille will... Shaquille will pay for that. Sayo will front it for us.
This show is really special to me.
Yeah.
Because first time I'll be on the stage with my son.
Yeah.
This is your son?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nobody mentioned that earlier on.
Yeah.
So this is your dad?
Yeah.
For real?
Nah, for real.
Okay.
Yeah, for real.
And what did you think when he started this journey?
I was shocked because it's like, where does come from? He just pop up out of nowhere, and everybody's just showing me on the phone, and I just keep laughing because a lot of people don't know that's my child.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
And I've known you for quite a while. Well, the apple doesn't fall far.
Yeah,
that's true.
But now that you are sharing a stage with your father, this is the first time sharing a stage with him?
Yeah.
Oh, so this may be... Well, you're not nervous at all. Are you nervous?
No.
You don't think he's going to be, watching every single thing, listening to everything, and after the show say...
Nah,
make a mistake.
we ain't far from each other.
He
Really?
bad like that. Dread.
Yeah.
Bad,
We ain't far from each
And I'm
other,
sure you're very proud of him as well.
Definitely.
Well, just some more, just a recap of the information for this coming weekend show. You can get the tickets at
Ronnie and Caro Mass Camp on Marvel Road, Heifer's Bar right across the street from TTT. You can get it at Island E-Tickets. You can get it at Bruce Bar in St. Augustine, Port Rock at Frederick Street and Henry, and
All right. Well, any closing words, Shaquille? You're looking forward to this?
I'm looking forward to it, I'm looking forward to walking out, taking the mic and, share my experience and my stories. Hope you'll love it.
Yeah, we're gonna hear all those stories. I really want to know how you have so much experience, and you're not that old.
And that's the thing. I think that what God bless me with.
That's a lot of experience for a... How old are you? You're not gonna say that.
I'm in 30s.
Then I might be
Really?
a story. The time the girl on TTT asked me what's my age on air. Well, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Laugh Till Your Belly Buzz V Productions. It starts at 8 p.m. on Saturday. You do not want to be late for that. There's also a general and VIP ticket, so you can contact 278-5892 for more information. That's where we wrap it up for today on Trinidad and Tobago Today. What a beautiful show. Thank you for being here. I hope you've been having a wonderful day. Saharan dust levels, as you know, please take the necessary precautions. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, God's willing, that is, where we do this all over again at 6 a.m. Thanks so much to my team, always making magic possible. Carrie's up next with the Major Network News at 8 a.m. Bye for now.
After Carnival, TNT, the show you all been waiting for. Laugh till your belly bust.
Boy, you can't give me talk, boy. You so ugly, I hear you watching the mirror and your reflection drop. Let me face, let me pelt that dog. Boy, you can't give me no talk, boy. Look at your teeth. The way it's spaced out is making your tongue look like it's in jail.
Every morning begins with a story, the headlines you need, the voices you trust, the conversations shaping our nation. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today.
where your day starts informed and inspired. News that matters to you. Conversations that spark new ideas. Stories that move Trinidad and Tobago forward. Tune in weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. or join the conversation on any smart device at TNT Today Show. Trinidad and Tobago Today. Start here, exclusively on TTT.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Good morning. This is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. The Caribbean region has reached a crossroads, the point where the evolution of the leading regional body, CARICOM, is being required. This is the view of regional security expert Garvin Hira, reflecting on the significance of Prime Minister Kano Persad-Bissessa's address at the recent Heads of Government meeting in St. Kitts and Nevis.
CARICOM needs to understand that CARICOM is evolving. CARICOM has not failed, it is evolving. And therefore, the environment has shifted incrementally, and we can't just sit here and continue to do business as usual. We have to adjust, and we have to also shift our narrative, our approaches, our strategies incrementally.
Mr. Hira argued that the region must look more critically at how it defines itself, not just as a zone of trade, but as a vulnerable transit corridor within the global security landscape. He says preserving the region's identity as a zone of peace requires confronting the threats that come with this. He stressed that trade facilitation, open borders, and maritime connectivity, while essential for economic growth, also create exploitable channels for organized criminal networks.
Our region has a value, and they are seeing that not only America. Not only America has put their hands up, they've spoken, they've sent their forces in, but other big players in the region, out of Europe, out of Asia, they are out of the Middle East, they are also showing interest into this region. And so the lights have gone on our stage, and therefore for us to be able to maintain that sort of value, we cannot be speaking in silos. That's one, she was clear to say that. And two, we also have to ensure that that unified voice speaks towards certain authorities.
He said regional connectivity is now widely seen as one of the Caribbean's greatest strengths. Stronger links in trade, transport, and policy coordination have enhanced the region's strategic importance. Mr. Hira added that this growing unity strengthens the Caribbean's geopolitical relevance, allowing it to project a clearer, more influential voice on the global stage as a cohesive region. In other news, Michelle Benjamin, Minister of Culture and Community Development, has extended condolences to the family, friends, and the national community on the passing of cultural advocate Raymond Edwards, who died on Wednesday, 25th February 2026. Edwards was widely respected for his steadfast support of the arts, particularly in southern communities, and for promoting culture as a unifying force and vital expression of national identity. He trained classical vocalist. He was a founding member of the group Quite Exquisitely Done TT, earning recognition as one of the country's leading tenors. He also played a key role in cultural presentation, hosting the Classical Jewels 11 concert series at the National Academy for the Performing Arts, and served as a multimedia producer with the Office of the Prime Minister. The ministry praised his professionalism, advocacy, and lasting contribution to Trinidad and Tobago's cultural landscape, extending special condolences to his wife, Desiree Connor, a board member of NAPA. In other news, roadworks are scheduled for Thursday, 26 February, that's today, along the main road Crown Point from the vicinity of the Coliseum to the Rockley Vale intersection along the Claude Noel Highway. The Division of Public Infrastructure and Transportation says the extensive road restoration exercise is aimed at improving the motoring experience and providing a safer commute for road users across the island. The project is expected to run until Saturday, 8th March 2026, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Motorists traveling along the affected route are being urged to exercise extra caution during the period of works. The division has apologized for any inconvenience caused and thanked members of the public for their understanding and cooperation as the exercise gets underway. In some sport now, action continues to heat up in the East-West Corridor Football League, with 3 matches scheduled to take place across Trinidad and Tobago this evening, as teams continue to stake their claim for a spot in the round of 16. First, in the Northeast Zone, we'll see a clash between Amalgamated FC and Dream Team United at the Northeastern Sporting Complex from 7 p.m. In Carenage, also from 7 p.m., Trendsetter Hawks will face United Brotherhood in the North Zone. And moving to the Corland grounds from 6 p.m., we'll see a battle between 3rd and 4th as Kings United meet Team Ready in the Tobago Zone. And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Kyrie Roberts. From all of us here, have a great day.
This is TTT. Live for local.
Carrie's Kitchen, powered by Food Hall. Grocery made greater. Ibis, a tradition of excellence. Caribbean flavors. In the heart of every kitchen. Lotus, the confidence to create. Correga Garden Supplies. Good and natural. Indie, spice up your life. Distributed by Edward B.B. Harry. Champion, always a winner. Distributed by Edward B.B. Harry. Lion, the power behind our great taste traditions. Excellent Stores Limited. Live, create, do.